If you're trying to make the leap from senior designer to creative director, you are in the right place. But here's the hard truth. The skills that got you to senior designer are not the skills that would get you to creative director. You're crushing the design work, your pixels are perfect, and you're hitting every deadline. But that promotion, it feels like it's always just out of reach. Why? Because doubling down on your craft right now will actually be holding you back. To make the leap, you have to stop acting like the maker and start acting like a leader. Today, I'm breaking down 18 specific daily habits that bridge the gap between execution and strategy. These aren't abstract theories, these are practical shifts you need to make starting tomorrow. Hi, I'm Rajib. On this channel, we focus on helping mid to senior level creatives get promoted without the burnout. If you look at the data, most creative careers start at the mid to senior level. Why? Because the jump to director requires a fundamental shift in how you spend your time, how you view your value to the business. It's about visibility, business literacy, and influence. I've compiled a list of 18 habits. Now don't panic, you don't need to do all 18 every single day. Think of it as a menu of micro actions that over time helps you to reprogram your professional reputation. We're going to move fast, so grab a notebook and let's dive in. Section 1 is all about strategic mindset and communication. Habit number 1 is gamifying your career. Stop waiting for your annual review to see if you're leveling up. Treat your career like a video game. Define what level 10 looks like for you. Is it leading a team? Is it owning P&L? Break that goal down into daily quests. When you gamify the process, you stop feeling like a victim of corporate bureaucracy. Start feeling like the player character driving the story. Habit 2, strategic speaking. As a senior designer, you talk about the what, the colors, the layout, the typography. But to be a creative director, you must talk about the why. In every single meeting, I want you to replace one comment about aesthetics with a comment about business objectives. For example, instead of saying, oh, I chose this blue because of X, Y, and Z, say I chose this blue to build trust with our demographic in that region for this reason. That is how directors speak. Habit 3 is structured reflection. Creative directors solve problems, but you can't solve problems you don't see. Take 5 minutes at the end of the day, not to check emails, but to audit your day. What interactions went well? Where did you lose the room? This loop of self-correction accelerates your maturity faster than any workshop can. Habit 4, the mentorship exchange. You usually think of mentorship as getting advice, but leaders give advice. So find a junior creative and offer guidance. You cannot be a creative director if you cannot direct creative. Prove you can nurture talent now, even without the authority. And at the same time, find a mentor yourself, someone who's 2 steps ahead of you. You need tactical advice for the immediate next step in your career. Section 2, business acumen and growth. This leads us to habit 5, curated reading. And I don't mean reading design blogs. If you want a seat at the leadership table, you need to understand the languages spoken there. Read things like Harvard Business Review, Fast Company, or read the books your CEO quotes in monthly town halls. When you can draw parallels between a design decision and a market trend you read about, you start to become dangerous. Habit 6, budget utilization. It shocks me how many seniors leave their learning budget on the table. A director manages resources, so start by managing your own. If your company offers a training budget, make sure you use every single penny of it. If they don't, pitch them on why they should fund a specific course for you. The act of pitching the budget is in itself leadership training. Habit 7, hunt for friction. Most people fish for compliments. Does this look good? But a future director asks, where does this fail? Actively seek critical feedback from people outside the creative team. Ask a sales rep why the deck didn't convert. Ask a developer why the handoff was painful. This friction is where your growth lives. Habit 8 might be the most boring, but it's also the most important. That's business literacy. Do you know how your agency or company makes money? Not we sell designs, but the actual margins. Spend 10 minutes a day learning the mechanics of your business. If you can explain how your creative work impacts the bottom line, like reducing customer acquisition costs or increasing retention, you're no longer an expense, you're an investment. Habit 9, cross-industry study. Don't just look at what your competitors are doing. Look at hospitality, look at automotive, look at architecture. Creative director connect dots that others don't see. Bringing a concept from the hospitality industry into a SaaS product design, That's the kind of innovative thinking that gets you promoted. Section 3, visibility and ownership. Now we move to visibility. You cannot be promoted if you are invisible. Habit 10, pitching practice. Stop just sharing your screen and mumbling through the work. Treat every status update as a mini pitch. See the context, state the problem, and reveal the solution. This daily rehearsal prepares you for the high-stakes board meetings you will eventually lead. Habit 11, cross-functional networking. Get out of the creative box. Go have a coffee with someone in product, engineering, or sales. Directors act as the glue between departments. If the only people who know your value are other designers, your influence is capped. Habit 12, external branding. Build a reputation outside your building. Post your thoughts on LinkedIn, attend a local meetup. When your internal leadership sees that you are respected externally, their perception of your value internally skyrockets. Habit 13, the win tracker. Do not rely on your memory for your annual review. Keep a brag sheet. Every time you solve a crisis, save money, or get a client win, write it down. When you ask for that promotion, you want a mountain of evidence, not vague feelings. Habit 14, document your process. Seniors do the work, but directors design the machine that does the work. Start documenting how you do things. Turn your workflow into a template or a guide for others. When you create systems that help the team scale, you are operating at a director level. Section 4, sustaining creativity and innovation. Finally, let's talk about keeping the spark alive. Habit 15, narrative ownership. Control the story of your projects. Don't let a project manager explain your creative rationale to a client. Step up and own the narrative. If you let others tell your story, they will tell it wrong. Habit 16, prototyping ideas. Don't just talk about cool ideas, build ugly prototypes fast. A director moves the conversation from abstract debate to concrete reality. Being the person who says, I mocked this up roughly to see if it works, cuts through hours of meetings. Habit 17, environmental shifts. If you sit in the same chair for 8 hours, your brain stagnates. Change your physical context to change your mental mode. Take a meeting walking, sketch in the cafeteria. It signals to your brain and your team that you are flexible and dynamic. And finally, habit 18, offline inspiration. Honestly, get off Pinterest, get off Behance, go to a museum, walk through a hardware store, look at nature. The best creative directors have a deep well of reference points that don't come from the internet. This prevents your work from looking like everyone else's. Here's the bottom line. You don't become a creative director the day you get the job offer. You become one the day you decide to adopt these habits. The transition from senior to director is the transition from I can design this well to I can lead the team to design this well while solving a business problem. Maybe it's the goal tracking guide, the cross-functional coffee, and the strategic speaking. Commit to them and watch how the room starts treating you differently. If you found value in this breakdown, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm find other creators who are stuck in the gap, and subscribe if you want more no-nonsense career strategy. I'm Rajib, go build your career, and I'll see you in the next one.